YouTube. Anyways, just in case people are absent. So for this, this is a volume of a sphere. A sphere is a ball or a circle. It's three-dimensional. So you're figuring out how much you could fit in here. So volume equals 4/3 pi r cubed. You could ask for your answer in two different ways. You could ask for it in terms of pi, or you could ask for it in rounded. They're really not going to say use 3.14. If they want it rounded, you're using the pi button on the calculator. So you're going to need your calculator. We're going to use our formula. We're going to plug in our information. So I have volume equals 4/3. And I'm going to show every single step. Whenever you get used to this, especially if you've seen this before in middle school, you can skip steps. You can combine steps. I'm going to show every step. 4/3 times pi times r. What is my radius for this first question? 4. So I'm doing 4 to the 3rd power because that's in the formula. So when I'm simplifying this first, I have 4/3 times pi and then times 4 cubed. So I'm going to do 4 cubed. In the calculator, you need to know where your power button is. I have 4 to the power, which is xy, of 3, which is 64. So I'm going to simplify that. I have 4/3 times, and I'm going to switch these placements, 64 times pi. I'm going to put pi in the back. Now I'm going to take 64 and I'm going to multiply by 4/3. You could do this one of two ways. You can make 64 into a fraction over 1 and think about you're multiplying straight across and then you're multiplying straight across. So what is 4 times 64 going to bring you down? Yeah. 256. 3 times 1 is 3. And this is where you can do it all in the calculator at once. If I take 256 and I divide by 3, what do I get? So 85.333. So I'm going to round to the nearest hundredth because that's what the directions say. So in terms of pi, my answer is 85.33 pi inches cubed. Because it's volume, your inches are cubed. So in terms of pi means that you leave pi alone. If they want it rounded, I'm going to take this in the calculator, my decimal, 85.3, blah, 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 and I'm going to multiply literally by the pi button. The pi button is this EXP button down at the bottom. So I'm going to take this and times it by pi. You should see pi pop up in your calculator and then press equals. So this is 268.08 inches cubed. So there's two different forms of answers they could ask for. They could say in terms of pi, this would be the answer. If they want it rounded to whatever, this would be the answer. Do you remember doing this in middle school?
This is good, Brandon.
Thanks for being honest.
Yeah, I just haven't.
Thanks for being honest.
Especially now.
Fair enough. Yeah, I used to take, there would be like 15 kids online and I would randomly take a poll in the middle of class and be like, raise your hand on Teams if like you're here and listening to my voice right now currently. And like 2 people would like raise their hands, you know, on Teams. I'm like, I know. And I'm like, they're like, who knows what they're doing? Not listening to me, but whatever. Okay, so if you this may have been the COVID year. What's up? The pi button is the EXP button.
Just press it.
If you literally press it, it says 3.14, blah, 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 blah. So like I took this answer, 85.33, and I multiplied by pi, boop, equals. They're multiplying by pi if they want it rounded. Because see how it's slightly off? Because whenever I take this and I divide, if I have 256 divided by 3, this is the whole answer. So when you're rounding, you don't want to round until the very end. So I'm going to use that whole decimal and I'm going to multiply that whole thing by pi, which gives me back 268.082. So that's why you want to be careful. You want to round only at the very end. Use the whole decimal till the end. Okay. And that's why 3.14 is different than using the pi button. The pi button is the whole decimal. What's up?
You have to press times. So if I go 5 times 5. You have to press times first.
So if you're just getting these double zeros, like if I just press like, I don't know, 2, whatever, and then I press the pi button and I'm like pi, it just puts zeros. That's because you have to press multiply and then pi. Okay. So for the second one, let's do another one. I have a sphere. I'm using my formula that's on the reference sheet. You just need to know how to use the formula. Volume for a sphere is 4/3 multiplied by pi multiplied by my radius. In this case, what is my radius? 12. I'm taking 12 and I am cubing it. So I'm going to start by simplifying 12 cubed. If I take 12 to the 3rd power, everybody use your calculator so you feel comfortable with your calculator. 12 to the 3rd power gives me what? Something massive. Like 1,000. Thank you. I'm going to put pi in the back just because I'm switching it for right now. And now I'm multiplying by 4, dividing by 3. So take this, multiply by 4, divide by 3. If I multiply by 4, I get 6912. And this is where you could just do it in the calculator all at once. If I divide by 3, what do I get? I think it's a nice number. Yes, thank you. That's in terms of pi. So in terms of pi, I get 2,304 pi feet cubed. If I want the answer rounded, I'm going to take that answer and I'm going to include pi now. So I'm going to take that and I'm going to multiply by the pi button. So 2,304 multiply and then pi button. Boop. So 2,3. Yeah. Now when you don't have to include pi because you have now included it in the answer. Okay. So take a second, try the last one. Yeah, you're supposed to. Because it's volume, your units are always going to be cubed. Area is always squared. One-dimensional lengths are not. Just, it's like inches. So try your first sphere or last sphere, whatever. Try last part. First sphere.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's still going though.
So check your answer whenever you're done. And then we're going to do cylinders.
So, you're doing 4 numerator. Yeah, by 5, so that's. And then the city is not there. Okay, so the top.
Okay, so you should have got 1,000 or 14,197.33 pi in terms of pi. And then when I multiply that by the pi button, once again, I used the entire decimal from the original problem multiplied by the pi button. So if you notice that your decimal is off by like 0.01 or something like that, that's because you did not use the whole decimal. You want to be careful when you're doing that. You want to use the whole decimal multiplied by the whole pi button decimal, then round at the end. We're going to talk about cylinders. Cylinders are like a can of Sprite or a can of Pepsi or something like that, or like a container of ice cream or a cake. I love ice cream as well. I hate cake. Okay. I hate cake. I've never liked cake even as a kid. I hated cake. It's so disgusting. But like even as a kid, like my mom for my birthday would have to buy me like a cookie cake, which is like a huge cookie, or like an ice cream cake. Yeah. Okay, we're getting sidetracked. So for the volume of a cylinder, this formula looks weird. So if you look at your where's my cylinders? Cylinder. Prisms and cylinders, and we'll talk about prisms later, but this is a volume equals big B times H. Big B, if you notice over here, does it say what big B is? Yeah. Big B, this is like your key, is the area of the base, because we're going to deal with so many shapes. They've kind of summed this up. If you're talking about a cylinder, what shape is the base of a cylinder? It's a circle. How do you find the area of a circle? Yes. So this formula is not big B times H, because you're like, what the heck is big B? It's definitely not the radius. It's pi r squared times the height. Because the base of the cylinder is a circle, it's pi r squared times the height. So we're going to plug in our values. In this case, I'm going to bring down pi. My radius is 5. My height is 9. So now I'm going to simplify exponents first. 5 squared gives me how much? 25. I'm going to put pi in the back again. 25 times 9. What's 25 times 9? And this is why when you're doing this, you can realistically do it all in the calculator. What's 25 times 9? 225. So in terms of pi, the volume for this cylinder is 225 pi inches cubed. If I want my volume rounded, I'm going to take this whole thing, which is 225, and I'm going to multiply by the pi button. The pi button is the EXP button. So I press times, EXP, pi shows up, press equals. So I get 706.86 inches cubed. So this formula looks a little different because it's big B times H. Big B is the area of the base. The base is a circle, which is pi r squared. This one's slightly different. This one gives me the entire length. It gives me the diameter. The diameter is 20. So what would be the radius if the diameter is 20? 10. So my radius is equal to 10. So I'm using the same formula because my base is a circle. I'm doing volume equals pi r squared times the height of the cylinder. Ten squared is 100. I'm doing 100 times 13. 100 times 13 is 1,300 or 1,300. That's in terms of pi. Feet cubed. To get that answer rounded, I'm taking 1,300 and I'm multiplying by the pi button. Yeah. Sorry. Calculator. Yeah. Yeah. It doesn't matter because it's multiplying. You can literally multiply it in any order. It's just multiplication. So take a second, do that last one, and then you have problems on the back. There is more. No, you're doing the last one. Do you want me to do it for you? Seriously? You're not gonna learn if I just do it for you. You should.
No, you don't have.
Do you remember doing this from in middle school? They were like, and we're done. It was too long ago. Take a second, try your problem. Yes, all pass out tests. This is not gonna help you with the test, so you can keep this out with fun. She wasn't here the first day. I think. All right. Simple. We'll work on this. So on the front, you should have gotten 3,724 pi. And then 11,699.29 yards. Really quick, there is an error on this sheet. Because there is an error on number 6. Number 6, I forgot to put the heights on the sheet. So the height is equal to 7. And remember, look out for the word diameter. Diameter is the whole length. You need to cut it in half, okay? So you have a couple problems on the back. So you can work on this or you can work on your test. What's up?
No reaction. No reaction.
I do know that's small. That's what she gets to the first. That's fine. So what?
Said I feel like when you're you see your bits. Side.
That's gross. You were talking, I think that's how mostly stuff.
What?
It
wasn't done. Yes.
And then I'm, did I tell you about this? I'll do it. I was thinking about that yesterday when I was making dinner.
Oh my God, I bet you I've never put a grid. I don't remember what Oh, I made chicken tenders, like homemade chicken tenders.
Oh.
And potato pods and asparagus.
I like it. Stop. Actually.
Jayla, stop talking to her. She's taking a test.